It's going to be an interesting stage. It's the longest stage of this year's tour, 218 kilometers from Chauvigny to Serran. But what's important, it's up and down the whole day. There's four categorized climbs, finishing with a Cat 2 climb, where there's a time bonus sprint actually, with 25K to go. The point sprint is at 51K into the stage. So that is definitely going to help Sam Bennett and not be good for Peter Sagan. But if Sagan can get into the break in the hilly section of the course, maybe Trentin can go with him because Bennett won't be able to, Ewan won't be able to because it's too hilly. That could benefit someone like Sagan or Trentin. And at this point, I think Sagan's got to have to try to get into the break at some point, maybe after the sprint, who knows, the intermediate sprint, and try to win the final sprint because it's a bit of an uphill drag for the last 5 kilometers, and including the last kilometer is uphill to the finish. Not steep, but an uphill sprint, which traditionally favors someone like Peter Sagan.
You're completely right. And as you were saying that, I think I just pieced together in my head what I was trying to say about Peter Sagan. Because ultimately, Alex, deep down, I feel bad for him because every year people are like, Sagan, he isn't what he used to be. He's not riding that well. Yesterday he was third in a sprint finish of the Tour de France. That's really good. Today he was almost second in the sprint finish of the Tour de France. The guy is still so good, and they're just the 3-time world championship thing. I keep going back to it because people put so much expectation on him, and it's become this thing where he gets a podium in a finish at the Tour de France, and people are like, "Sorry, man, not your year." And I think that is a hard thing for Peter Sagan to process in his head because he's like, it's still really good, guys. Come on. So what I'm trying to get at here is he's riding really well. I hope he gets his head on right after what happened today, because I think you're completely right, Alex. Tomorrow looks like a classics rider kind of day. Do you think it's going to be a breakaway for the finish?
I think there's a good chance Way will stay away tomorrow. There's a good chance for it. It's
A
too
good
hard
chance
for
for a breakaway.
the breakaway, yeah. And I think it's too hard for the sprinters to be there at the finish in one big group. So I think if the right guys get in a break, who are down on GC, they don't have they're not a threat to overall. I think yeah, I think it's a day for the break tomorrow.